Hi, my name is Chris Melke. I'm the founder of AI Renegade, an AI agency, and I'm also an AI enthusiast. And I'm here to talk about building an email autoresponder in n8n. This is a very simple tool you can use that if you receive emails, say to a sales inbox or even your own inbox, and you need to respond rapidly, this is an ideal tool for you. You might have seen this built in tools such as make.com, which is a fine tool for this, but we're going to try to build it today in n8n. So what we're looking at right now is n8n's website. This is a tool that is used to build AI agents. And you may have heard this is very popular on the web. This is open source, and it has some attractive pricing models for people to start and get using it to build agents. So there's a starter plan, a pro plan, and an enterprise plan. I run a server instance, so my costs are a little bit more pricey than the starter plan, but I get unlimited amount of operations because I host my own server. So what we're planning on doing today is we're going to have an inbox that we're going to watch for a sales lead. So this will be our primary inbox. And then what we're going to do is we're going to send this sales lead notification to that inbox and then use it to build our email autoresponder. So what I'm going to do is, this is the new lead notification. As you can see here, I just addressed it to myself and I put my name in here and I said, this is a high ticket offer and I'm interested in learning more about AI. Could you tell me how to start? And I've included my email address there. So I'm going to send this so I have data in my inbox. So I'm going to send that. It should appear in my inbox shortly. Obviously, the pipes are clogged. There we go. All right. So we have a new lead notification. So this is new in my inbox. It's all good. So that has been sent. So what we're going to do is I've mapped this out in Miro. When we get an email to this inbox, we're going to build a tool that checks every 30 minutes for an email, and then it will check it out, and then it's going to parse it through AI on how to send it through. We're going to have AI read the email, and we're going to pull some of the data from this email, such as who it's from, the subject, and the message. So we're going to pull that through. We're going to run it through a system prompt, which is fixed, and we're going to give it a role. And we're going to say you're an intelligent email assistant. You're monitoring a sales inbox that receives inquiry for a coaching offer that I run. The limitations are you can only draft emails. You cannot send them. Your response is that your task is to digest the sales email and produce a high quality customized response to return. Make sure the responses are Spartan in nature and don't use any frilly language. You should write the email in plain text and don't use any HTML. And then I gave it an example of what I'd like to see. So I just gave it some breaks in here. It'll ignore that. What will happen is that it will run through OpenAI and craft a response, and it'll draft the email. And so when it goes through this, it's going to go through a node of Gmail where it's going to take the subject that's been input and it's going to have the freedom to write that email, and then it's going to drop that email into the drafts folder. So you should have, as a final product, a draft of an email that you can look through and send on your own. So now that we know what we're building, since we looked at the flow, let's check out going into the workflow automation. We're going to add our first, we're inside n8n now. So I went over, I'm in n8n, I run my own server, so that's why it looks a little funky up here. And we're just going to we're going to say email autoresponder YouTube. So you're going to name it. It says that the workflow has been successfully done. So we're going to add our first step in here. So we're going to look for Gmail. So we're going to trigger this on a message received. So anytime we receive a message to this particular inbox, we're going to receive it. So I just want to make sure that my Google account is connected. It says, I want to make sure that I have my professional email account connected to this and not my personal. So I'm going to sign in with Google. You can figure out how to set this all up because you have to give it credentials. It always says that Google hasn't verified this app, which is fine, and it asks for permission to get to your account. And I just say continue, and we're all done. So right now, we're all set up in Google, and so we're saved. So we're going to go into here And what we're going to do is that we're actually going to take this off of every minute, because if you keep polling in your email every minute, you don't really need to do that. So what we're going to do is, remember in here, I had a little expression that's here. So what it is a cron expression. So cron comes from Unix. This is part of an old thing, but it says what is the interval that you want this to be polled. What it is I want to set this up for 30 minutes. So this is in cron, how you actually say 30 minutes. So let me do this first. I'm going to drop this in here so we have it, custom, and I'm going to drop the cron expression. So the nice thing is that n8n has lots of documents on how to look at and schedule trigger nodes or anything else that's in here. But this is a pretty in-depth document on how to actually set it up. So what we did was we did a minimal between trigger. So here, when I said I want to trigger this every 30 minutes, and it says every X minutes. So it says an asterisk. I need to put a number in here, and then 4 asterisks after it. For this, they use every 5 minutes. For ours, we use every 30 minutes. So that's what this cron expression is in here. So the event is message received. So we should be good to do that. So what we're going to do is actually to populate this next node, we're going to actually fetch some data. So I'm going to do a fetch test event. So it's going to go out. It's going to find what's in my email inbox, which is right here, and parse it for me. So now I have some data that's in here. So I have a snippet of which is the body text of the email. And then I also have who this is from and who the subject is right here. So we're all good with that. We have the new lead notification. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this data here so that I can keep using it to build my flow. So you can see by this little asterisk here, so that just means we can reuse the data. And then we're going to go into AI and add an AI agent. So here's your AI agent. So notice here it's pulled in. It says, okay, I realize that I have data that's here and all this is available for us to use. So what I did here is that it says connected chat trigger node. Well, we don't want that because it's throwing an error here. It's giving you an error that, hey, I don't have any chat input. I need something else that's here. So I'm going to define this below. And so I'm going to give it an actual user message. So this is where I put in the user message. And I'm going to copy this out of here. So this is the first part of this to make sure that it reads the email and it goes through. So I'm going to make this an expression. So what it's doing is user message prefix, write a reply to the following email and add a giraffe to the email lead. I've added these things that it's pulling from here. So notice that JSON from is it's actually pulling who this is from. So this is this actual item here, and it's the subject. The subject is new lead notification, and it's pulling the message. So the message is the snippet. So it's a very simple way to say, hey, this is what I want you to pull, and this is what I want you to look at. So if that hopefully that makes some sense. What a lot of people do from here is that if you don't want to use actual JSON like here, what we can do is take this out, and then what you can do is actually just drag and drop into here. So notice that it's the same thing, but now it's writing the JSON for you and not taking any additional text and dropping it in there. So it's writing in the format that it will say, okay, I understand these are going to be variables that are going to be coming through for every email that comes in. It's not always going to be the same. So you need to establish these variables so that it knows that, okay, I'm going to parse through these emails as a unique item. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a system message here. So this is where this comes in. This is this big long text that I wrote. It's basically just telling you it's an email assistant. It has limitations. And this is an example I wanted to write, how I wanted to write the email. So I'm going to copy this in here, and then I'm going to paste it right in here. So now I have my system message. So I have my prompt. So this is what I'm going to use to trigger, and OpenAI is going to go out and establish what the message is actually going to be. So let's go back out to the canvas. Okay, so we're getting a little caution message here, which probably means that we need to hook up an AI node. We don't have anything here. We don't have a chat model. So you'll notice that it'll say, hey, I have nothing to run this through. You need to hook something up. So this error message goes away. So I'm going to hook up the actual OpenAI account, And then you can keep it on 4.0 mini if you like. I think that's a fine addition. If you want to set up your own OpenAI account for n8n, please look out there. There's several videos out there of how to do this. It's just basically getting an API credentials and plugging that in there. So now we have this set up. So notice this error message has gone away because it's very happy now. It has a chat model it can go through. It's saying, okay, this chat model is ready to go. So that's cool. So now what we want to do is actually bring in the node to actually craft the Gmail. So I want the Gmail tool. And so I already have a Gmail account set up, so that shouldn't be a problem. The tool is set automatically. And what that resource is actually I wanted to change it from message, and I wanted to create a draft because I don't want it to send the actual item in there to the user who emailed me. I want to take a look at what AI is sending before I send it off. So for subject, usually I just put in here RE because that's usually how it appears. And then I drop the subject in here, right? So again, all I wanted to do is say, this might not be new lead notification. It could be whatever you have your email set up in your inbox for your subject that's coming in. The email is text. And then the message, what I'm going to do here is click on this little star here. And what happens is that let's model define this parameter. So it's going to actually say, hey, you need to write the message using the parameters I've given you to your role that you've already been provided. So we click on this little star. And again, it says here, define automatically by the model. So now we have the model actually generating the output for this, and we're doing that as a way we can do it pretty rapidly, and we don't have to mess around with putting in JSON or anything like that. So let's go back to the canvas and look at our flow. So right now, we have a flow that is going to, the email will trigger, it runs through the AI agent, it's going to run it through the AI chat model, and it's going to create an email draft. So the end goal of this is to get an email draft we can send to that person who inquired about my coaching. So again, here's the email. I'm going to just label this as unread, so it thinks it has that data, but I've already pinned it as that data that's here. So we're going to go through and test this workflow and see how that works. So I'm going to click test workflow. And you can see it's running through the agent. The OpenAI model is already generated it, and it already has generated, it's supposedly generated a draft. So let's take a look at how this worked and what this looks like inside the AI model. So it's run through the AI model, it's through the system message, and now what it says is I've drafted a response to Chris Melke's inquiry. Here it is. And then what it does is it actually says, it gives the text and stuff like that, and it gives my name because I'm running the program. So it did great. So it's actually got some output. So let's go back to the canvas. Take a look here. See, this is what the AI model is using. It's saying, I have, this is my role. This is an example. So it's actually pulling in the data from the prompt. And then the output is it's run this through the AI model, and then it's drafted a response. So that's sitting right here. And we can look at that, see, in table format to make it a little bit easier. Put that in table format. Here's the prompt that I put in, and it says, I've drafted a response to Chris Melke's inquiry. Here it is. So there we go. So it's drafted this response. Let's go back out here and take a look. So this is the message. So we've got this message that we're going to be looking for in our drafts folder. Thanks for reaching out and expressing interest in learning AI. I'd be happy to help you get started. I suggest we schedule a call, discuss your goals and how coaching programs can support you. Please let me know your availability and we can set something up. Look forward to connecting. Best, Chris. So if we go out here in our drafts folder, we have that draft. So I've written this through AI. So again, thanks for reaching out, expressing your interest in learning AI. I have to get you started. It's the exact same thing that's here. So that's ready to go. So what you want to do now is if you want this to monitor your inbox, we're going to save this. We're going to unpin this data. Go back to the canvas, and you can make this active. Okay. So we got a little message here. It has to be too short. It has to be at least a minute. So what I'm going to do is actually go into here, and I'll just change this back to, like, I'm just going to call it every hour, right? So, and then save it. So I'm going to say workflow activated. You to now regularly check emails and events. These don't show up in the editor, but you can see them in the execution list. And I'm going to say got it. So now this is all ready to go. It should be active and in your inbox. So I guess my cron thing didn't work. But anyway, right now it's set up for every hour, which is better than every half hour. Again, at least you learn something is that you can actually trigger on these. If you want it every 5 minutes or something like that, definitely set it up how you would like to. And at least, like I said, AI isn't perfect. And me as a user, I'm always learning new things. So you just have to take it in stride. So if you like this video, this is all ready to go. This is an AI agent that will auto respond to any email that's sent to this inbox, and it's active. So please like and subscribe below so I can continue to create more videos that you can enjoy. Thanks and cheers.